What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Nick, and this week's Ask Dr. Nick is similar to last week's Ask Dr. Nick. This one is going to be with a friend of mine, Dr. Shelby, and this one I think is going to be really valuable to all of those pediatric chiropractors out there. We kind of dove deep into some of the strategies that somebody who wants to see a lot of babies and moms would find valuable. So let me know what you think on this one. We're going to be calling these episodes Ask Dr. Nick Strategy Session as opposed to just Ask Dr. Nick, so you can kind of understand the difference between the two. This is going to be where I dive a little bit deeper in with an individual versus answering multiple questions on any given week. So hope you guys find value in this. Let me know what you think. All right, so now we have question number 2. We have Dr. Shelby Lockridge.
Yes.
Just married.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on the Ask Dr. Nick show. I appreciate it.
Yes.
So you just opened up last year, or is it 2 years
About
ago?
a year and a half ago. First practice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We have
and
second
so
location too.
You are the niece of my favorite
Love it.
fashion icon, Alan Miner.
Yes.
So he is in New Mexico. You're here in Dallas.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And I think you just opened a second place, like in a birthing center?
We did in
Nice.
August.
Very nice.
It's great. Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You had a busy year, it sounds like.
It was a wild year.
Yeah.
Yes. 2020 needs to beat it. So
There you go.
that's what we're here for.
So give me your question, and then we'll talk about that.
I'd love to know, what is the biggest marketing mistake chiropractors are making right now?
Okay. So I would say the biggest marketing mistake is, well, I'm going to give you one. I'm going to answer it, and then I'm going to give you a bonus just because the first one is boring.
Okay.
The first one is that they're doing nothing.
Sure.
Like that's their biggest
Right.
mistake, is they're just like literally just like hiding
Waiting
in their
around.
office.
Yep.
Like, why isn't anyone coming in? You know?
Yes.
No one knows that you exist. No one cares about what you do.
Yeah.
They care about themselves and their lives. And the more that you get out there and you can help them, the better. So the biggest mistake is the vast majority, because I talk to chiropractors all the time.
Right.
And they are literally doing nothing.
Right.
I mean, it's like shocking. I'm like, how do you get new patients again?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So luckily, like, I guess they keep them enough to like make ends meet,
Sure.
but it's surprising.
Okay.
So the bonus is for the ones that are doing something, what I feel like they are focusing too much on is the bottom of the funnel stuff.
Okay.
So do you know what I mean by bottom of the funnel?
Is that more internal?
So
trying to do stuff in the
a marketing
office?
funnel has kind of 3 sections.
Sure.
Top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel.
Okay.
It's a funnel because it's big at the top and narrow at the bottom.
Right.
At the top of the funnel, that's where you have to just like literally I'll use a spinal screening as an example.
Okay.
So there's a bridal expo going on, right?
Yeah.
You have to have a booth for someone to actually come get a spinal screening, right? So first you have to like be there.
Right.
Then they have to like walk past your booth and you have to invite them in, right? That's top of the funnel.
Okay.
So somebody's just living their life and you're like, hey, would you like to get your spine checked,
Yep.
right? They say yes or no.
Right.
A lot of them say no and keep walking, but the ones that say yes are now in the funnel.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
The middle of the funnel is going to be engagement. So that's going to be where hey, sit down. Let's talk about your history. Let's do the little scan or whatever we're going to do.
Perfect.
We've now engaged with them. They've told us something about them. We know what they're interested in. Now we can kind of craft our pitch to them based off of what they've told us, right?
Yep.
Bottom of the funnel is going to be where you make them the offer. So it's going to be like, hey, we're running a special for a $20 donation to the women's shelter. Would you like to come in for a first visit? That's bottom of the funnel.
Okay.
The problem is bottom of the funnel works really well if you have like a nice smiling person that looks like you out in the mix being
Yep.
like, hey, would you like to get your nervous system checked today?
Yes.
That is a good experience, right? They're like, yeah, sure, let's do that. Then the doctor is real nice and really engaged and listens to them and explains why chiropractic might be the solution to their problem. So they've gone through step 1 and step 2. Now when you make them the pitch, they have a little bit of a relationship with you.
Yeah.
They feel good about you. They're just like, man, I just came here to like pick out my wedding dress, but now I'm going to a chiropractor, right? So that bottom of the funnel stuff makes total sense that I'm now making them an offer to come in the office.
Right.
Most chiropractors are focusing 100% of any marketing that they are doing on just straight bottom of the funnel stuff.
Going for the offer.
Just Facebook $21 offers, maybe some Google ads, but everything is just like discount this and like it's almost like begging, to come in. So I think that's probably the biggest mistake that I see of the people that are doing something. And what my mission is to get more chiropractors to create more content so that they know what it is
that you do, like around your practice. What's the name of it's like outside of Dallas?
Illumin8, yeah.
I know, but
first one's in McKinney.
McKinney.
Yeah.
So if I remember, because we talked when you first opened it. So like
Yes.
McKinney's like 50, 60,000?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even a little smaller.
So if let's say it's 40, right?
Sure.
20,000 of those people are going to be between the ages of 25 and 65. If I remember correctly, you want to focus basically on babies and mamas, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So you're really thinking about 25 to maybe 40, maybe
Right.
45, right?
Yeah.
That's maybe out of 40,000, 20,000, 10,000, we're probably at like 6,000 or 7,000 people.
Sure.
Right? You can reach 6,000 or 7,000 people for $60, $70, right? So, what I told you when we originally had talked was you've got to put content out that women that are either pregnant or have just had kids or have kids that have challenges, you need to put things out for free that are going to help them with the problems that you think they might have.
Right.
And you have to, because there's so many, the problem with chiropractic is, like I was just talking to Derek with Big Life Financial, and he does financial strategies for chiropractors.
Right.
And so it's it's a very specific thing. They probably all have about the same challenges.
Sure.
It's easier for creating content than it is for creating content as a chiropractor.
Yeah.
The problem is like a mom with a colicky baby doesn't care about ear infections.
Right.
Because her baby doesn't have ear infections. So like, what's it to her? Right.
Nailed it.
So you have to constantly be creating content and putting it out there in a way that they're actually going to care about it. Not about like, me, Shelby, got this special training that you don't even know what that is or like how that's relevant to you. That's more middle of the funnel stuff. You have to first attract them with the thing that they care about, which is like, how do I stop peeing my pants?
Right.
Or how do I get my baby to actually like sleep?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, because there's people, like, I guarantee you right now, there are women in McKinney that are struggling with things that you could knock out of the park that have no idea that you exist. All because none of us are, not me, not anybody. Nobody is creating enough content to reach all the people.
Yeah,
right?
so true.
And we are lucky that we deal with a local audience so that it's not 6 million people, it's 6,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you could still take men as patients. You could still take 60-year-old women as patients.
Yes.
They will see you and they'll just be like, she seems nice. Because guess who is not doing anything, who's in that first group that I was talking about?
Yep.
Every other chiropractor
Yes.
in McKinney.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I'm going to go out on a limb
Right.
and just tell you that nobody's
Good
doing
assumption.
anything, right? So when you do something, they're just like, well, she seems like she knows what she's talking about. And maybe sprinkle in some like general, like
Yes.
some migraine stuff or some sciatica
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe you find somebody that's not your ideal, but you got to plant your flag,
Right.
even in a smaller area of like,
Right.
what do I stand for? Because then they
Yeah.
know, even if they're not, like if they don't have kids or if
Right.
they're not dealing with those problems, they might know somebody
They're gonna
that
know
is.
someone. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So true.
So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
What
Great
about anything
advice.
else? Anything?
Let's second question,
Yeah.
second part onto this one
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
What is your suggestion to the top of the funnel then? Is it it's obviously a lot of social media. That's where people are finding you.
Yep.
So what would be 3 top things that you would recommend then in that case?
The 3 top things I would say, so there's 3 let's say for your situation in
Same, yeah.
particular,
Yep.
just because I'm trying to be helpful to you.
Yeah.
So you want to focus on moms and pediatrics, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So the 3 types of content are video, audio, and written.
Okay. Yep.
So normally I don't think that a local podcast is like the best way to go
Sure.
for most chiropractors because
Right.
they're a little bit too general.
Yeah.
And if they did do a podcast, it would probably need to be more around like kind of being the mayor of the town.
Right.
Like let me
Yeah.
go interview the librarian or some just to like
Yeah.
if the high school
town.
football team is going to state, let's interview the quarterback,
Sure.
something like that.
Yeah.
With pediatric chiropractors though, I recommend to have a local podcast like this. Like I've got my audio thing down here. Like
Yeah.
we're recording this for the podcast so that the
Right.
audio is good, and then we have the video,
video
as well,
component.
right?
Genius.
So we will. Let's say I'm you, and you're the best known pediatrician in McKinney.
Yeah.
And I ask you, hey, I've got this podcast about specialists and pediatrics
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have you on. Like, I've heard such great things about you. So now instead of like, hey, can I come in and see your office? Or, hey, did you want to get coffee? Now it's like, I'd like to have you on my podcast. You're hosting the party.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So you invite that pediatrician on. you guys just shoot the shit for a little bit, and she's like, oh, you seem like you know what you're talking about, right? And now you've recorded it, right? Maybe moms start listening because, again, you're just adding value.
Right.
Most of my podcasts are not this. This is like my this is like one day a week that I do, like where I answer questions. The things that I really try to focus on are where I interview people, like I interviewed Alan. And just like try to extract value for the listeners because Alan's like a genius business person, right?
Yeah.
He's got 4 offices. He's got a liquor company. He's got all kinds of stuff, right?
Right.
And not everybody knows who he is or have the, they're not in the same place with him or whatever.
Right.
So I travel a lot. I know a lot of people. So I get a chance to like share that message with people, right? Yeah. So, and Alan has Chiro Matchmakers. So that allows him to get that message out. So it's a win-win for both of us.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
It's a win-win-win because the listener gets to hear it also.
True.
So if you start to become seen as a trusted resource to moms in McKinney, then your podcast, and you only have to do once a week. Like I do every day, but you could just do once a week.
Yeah.
You do once a week. Now it's not always about you. Yeah. You're not always having to create the content. All you're having to do is just like have a conversation with somebody who loves the same people that you do.
Cool.
And you're giving value to your people, right?
Yeah.
So that's one. Videos for sure. So like, when you're doing the podcast, you're capturing the video. You can chop that up.
Yeah.
Now when people are like, oh, there's my pediatrician. Who's that woman? Oh, she's a chiropractor?
Right.
Why should I go see a chiropractor? Like, oh, but if Betty the pediatrician thinks that this Shelby's okay, then she must be okay, right?
Right.
So now you get a little bit of shine from them with their audience, right? And they might share it on there. So like when we post this, like I'll tag you. Right. And then now you'll say, hey, thanks, Nick. And then your friends will see that you got tagged and you got shared it and be like, who's Nick, right?
Right.
So, and I've given value to all chiropractors out there. And we just talked about your wedding, how it was like all chiropractors. Right.
Yes.
So now you get into little circles. And moms, of course, are like all in these like little circles of influence.
Yes.
So that's one way to grab videos just by doing the podcast. Cool. But then just shoot some videos around the problems that they were having, just like what we were talking in the first question. Yeah. Just think up like 3 things you can do to help with incontinence after birth.
Right.
3 easy tips to swaddle your baby so that they go to sleep. I mean, I'm just making this up and I don't know anything about babies, right?
Yeah.
And so you could sit there and think of, and again, 1 a week is easy to do.
Right.
Think of 13 topics today and then start doing them. That'll cover you for the rest of the quarter and you've got your videos, right? And then there's the blog. So the blog is going to be, you could use the same topics that you create the videos around for that week.
Right.
Or maybe you do like 4 videos per month, all around kind of the same general topic. And then you use that content in the blog. Right. And you write a blog every month. Perfect. And the reason why the blog is important is, number one, you can post that. You can post the blog, like you can promote the blog on Facebook, so you can boost it out to that McKinney women 25 to 45 audience, right? Yeah. And let's say you spend $50 to get it out there. That'd get in front of 5,000 of them, right? Out of 6,000, right? Yep. Pretty good. So 5,000 people now see 7 tips to help incontinence after birth. Mm-hmm. And you can use the same information that you used in the blog on that month's videos, so it makes up 4 videos. And then you post that on your website, and when you promote that out on Facebook or on Instagram, when they click on that, because on Instagram, if you just posted it, it wouldn't be able to link back to your website. But if you boost it, it will be. And because if you just use an image, like if you use an image of a lady going like this with like a kid in the background, they'll get it, right?
Oh yeah.
So I just made the motion of wetting myself for all the listeners, right? So you could use that same image for Instagram and Facebook, spend $50, let Facebook show it to both, right? Because 25-year-old women are on Instagram more than they're on Facebook, right? So now it's like 7 tips, and it's like from your McKinney chiropractor or whatever, so they know it's like a local person instead of just some random person talking about that. Yeah. They click on it. Now they're on your website. Now they get the value of the blog. Right. And then they can look around on the site too. Because if they're reading a blog about incontinence, if you've got part of the blog should be like, hey, we help people with this all the time. Sure. Yeah. One of the things would obviously be chiropractic. Right. And at the end, it's like, hey, we help with people with this. Click here to schedule an appointment or call the office or whatever. Right. And, there you go. So those are your 3 types of content, and those
Cool.
are 3 like real simple strategies
It
on
really
how you
is.
could do. Yeah,
It's simple.
But you just like what I told Derek
yeah.
before you. It doesn't matter what the strategy is if you
Right.
don't actually make the content.
Right.
Like it all starts with the content.
Yes.
Because
yeah.
you can run a Facebook ad for, you can
anything, right?
you can do these bottom of the funnel things.
Right.
But if you haven't built up the trust, they're only so effective.
Right.
And it's like you kind of beat your head against the wall. And if you
Yeah.
have, I assume you're going to be in McKinney for a long time.
Yes. Yeah.
So you are a young chiropractor. You'll be there for 30 or 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
You should probably have a 30 or 40-year strategy.
Yeah.
And think about if in 10 years you did that thing that I just told you about. Every week you did one video, one podcast, and one blog a month.
Right.
You did that for 10 years, and
Right.
you spent money to make sure that women 25 to 45 actually saw it in
Yeah.
McKinney, like 10-mile radius around your practice.
Right.
In 10 years you'd probably be known and you've
Yeah.
done 10 years worth of interviews with all the people that matter when it comes to women. So like who are they going to refer to?
Yeah.
You know?
It's a no-brainer.
It's just
It really
relationship
is.
building.
Yeah.
You
it
know what I
is.
mean? So you can run the Facebook ads. You're not building any relationship with those. You're probably hurting your brand over time.
Sure.
If you create content with your avatar in mind,
Yeah.
they will eventually be attracted. You just have to have the long view, because you have to. Here's one little bonus tip on this. You need to close your eyes, put your head down, and just assume nothing good is going to happen from content creation
Right.
for 12 months.
Sure. Okay.
You do that for 12 months,
Rule.
and you expect 0 from it. You're like,
Right.
this is a cost
Yeah.
in my business. I'm going to spend $50 behind every single piece of content
Right.
to the same audience,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to expect anything out of it.
Right.
And then you look up at the end of the 12 months, and there'll be some people that
Right.
came in because of it.
Yeah.
But again, that shouldn't be your concern. It should be more about just educating. It doesn't always
Yes.
have to be about what you do. It can just
Right.
be about tips they can do at home, explaining things to them. But the
Yeah.
more you're seen as a trusted resource, the more that you're going to be
see more people.
you're going to be seen as an expert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got me pumped, Nick.
Yeah, like I'm ready to make some content.
Yeah. Let's do it. I love it. No,
All
that was
right.
great. Great
What's
advice.
your first video going to be?
I got to break it down. There's
No,
so
no.
much.
This is how
What's the
easy
first
it
one?
is.
Here's the first one off the top of
Yeah.
my head is ear infections.
There you go.
'Cause everyone's getting them.
All
right
right,
now.
so let's think of to
Yeah.
help you. Let's think of a title. What would a mom's got a baby with an ear infection.
Yes.
Like she's been dealing with it.
Yeah.
They've had them on antibiotics. She's
Right.
like been reading that antibiotics aren't that great for you to do long
Sure.
term.
Yep.
Her doctor's like, hey, listen, we're gonna have to put some tubes in if this doesn't get any better.
Yep.
She's worried. She doesn't want her kid. Nobody wants their kid to go through surgery, right? They just want them to
Right.
have no ear infections again,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they're worried about all that. They don't really know anything. They don't know about chiropractic.
Yeah.
What could be the thing that what could be a video that you could help them with, you think?
There's got to be holistic ways. What's funny is I'm thinking of a catchy topic. There's got to be a catchy topic, right?
Yep. So
Nothing's coming to my mind.
So do you
but
read like Women's Health or Cosmo or anything like that?
No.
Have you ever seen the covers of Women's Health
Sure.
and Cosmo?
They're eye catching. Yeah.
Next time you're in the airport, I
Right.
want you to just go read a Cosmo
Yeah.
cover,
Spin
just
ears.
cover,
Yeah.
and just 7 ways to a flat stomach.
See. Okay.
3 ways to something X-rated,
They
right?
like
It's
the
always in
ways.
like
Okay.
the bottom right-hand corner in my girlfriend's
Sure.
magazines. But those are the kinds of titles you want
Okay.
for your headline.
Yes,
You know
yeah.
why babies with ear infections get so much better under chiropractic care. That could be a good. That could be a good like second or third video that they watch.
Because
But
there's
why
chiropractic in the title?
Yeah, because
Sure.
like if they think like, oh, I don't want to take them to a chiropractor. Why would a baby
Right.
go to a chiropractor? You don't
Yes.
want to like turn them off.
Right.
So a better like first one is like why your baby is getting so many ear infections.
Yep.
Because that's what's happening
It's
with them.
true.
That's why they're worried. The first one they're not that worried about it. It's
Right.
just like, that's what babies do.
Yep.
Right. The
Yeah.
fifth one they're worried. So a good top of the funnel. Why is your baby having so many ear infections?
Yeah.
That's a good title. Then
Love
the
it.
next level down, that engagement. So let's say they watch that and they're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Then the next level down would be like 3 natural things you can do to help babies with ear infections. Something they can do on their own.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So that's something that they don't have to walk into your practice for. It's just
Yeah.
something that they can like, try this supplement or these
Sure.
drops in the air
Sure.
or something, right?
Yeah.
Essential
right.
oils.
Right.
And then the third one would be why babies with chiropractors or
Yeah.
why babies with ear infections get so much better under
Yeah.
chiropractic care.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's like now they've watched the first 2 and they're open to the message. They're open to
Right.
you. You seem
Yeah.
like they know you're a chiropractor. It says
Right.
you're a chiropractor.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah. Genius.
yeah. So let's start
Cool.
with the why babies get so
Now, are you suggesting
Why babies
this
get
is
so
all
many chiropractors.
1 week after the next?
Yeah, that would be like
Sure.
week 1, week 2, week 3.
So it's a month of ear infections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your blog would be about
Yeah.
7 things on ear infections.
Next month,
and then
new
maybe
topic.
your podcast is around ear infections. But
Sure.
the way that you would want to do the podcast, I don't know if you need to make it that
Pediatrician
specific
or something. Yeah.
I think it would be more about like interviewing them than
Right.
trying to cover some topic.
Yeah,
You know
sure.
what I mean?
Sure.
Especially the first time through.
Cool.
Maybe then after you've interviewed everybody you want to interview,
Right.
then you could either go national
Yeah.
to try to bring in people and just do like Zoom interviews.
Right.
Or you could go, you could have Betty, the pediatrician, back on to talk
Yeah.
about ear infections in particular because
Right.
you're talking about ear infections that month.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
I love it.
There's your whole
Thanks
strategy.
so much. That was
Yeah,
great. I'm
yeah.
going to go back and get
It's
to
a good
work.
thing we asked the
I
second
know.
question, right?
It really is. That was
All
really
right.
helpful.
Well, I
Great.
appreciate it.
Thank you so
and
much.
congratulations
You're
on
so
your
great.
wedding.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.